I will give you 3 guesses on who I am. I'll give you 2 hints. The living legend of hair loss, the Top Gun Maverick of hair loss. And yes, that was real lightning, because as I'm filming this in the Nashville nights, it's very hot outside, which meant it was very hot in the garage where I'm shooting this. So I decided I'm gonna have to open the garage door to shoot all the videos tonight. And boy, does it feel better now that I opened the garage door. And there's some thunderstorms going on in the background, so we may see more thunder and lightning. Do not fear. What is this video about? You know, in case you're new here, here's how this channel works. I am the 4th most popular hair loss YouTuber in the world. That's a fact. And it's very basic of a channel. I make the same videos over and over, and no one seems to be bothered by that. So keep doing that formula. That was more lightning. So here's the deal. You can imagine what it's like having 7,500 subscribers here for my hair loss videos mainly. And most of them, ironically, are not actually balding. Now, maybe at worst, some of my subscribers have a similar hairline to me but are younger than me, and they think that means they're gonna go bald, which it doesn't. You know, even looking at myself in the selfie cam, you know, people are gonna start comparing me to Ben Affleck. For years, people compare me to Ben Affleck. So I'm looking in the selfie cam, well, yep, with a shorter haircut, I'll probably get more of those comments. But what will happen is, when you're in my situation, people assume that because you are so popular of a YouTuber about a certain topic, that you are automatically some kind of expert, and that you actually are like really passionate about the topic. So what happens is, people will watch a couple of my videos, and then they decide to reach out to me and ask me, hey Nick, I love your channel, will you do me a favor and take a look at my hairline? Would you mind if I sent you a picture? So the answer is no, but I will say this, the answer used to be yes. You know, back before I had 7,500 subscribers, I was closer to maybe 1,500, 2,000 subscribers, I would. But I realized a pattern there. Just like all my videos are a pattern, it's the same stuff over and over. Psychologically, what was happening was, this is what would happen. A guy would send me a picture, I'd look at it, I'd predict, you know, at what age I thought he might start noticeably balding, or that he never would. And if I implied at all that he would eventually be going bald at some point, he would freak out and he'd say, well, what can I do to stop the hair loss? And you know, the truth is I have zero interest in keeping people from going bald. And that's a reflection of me. I don't care if I go bald. I haven't cared for a long time. And I actually, if there was a cure for hair loss, it would be stop caring about going bald. The moment you stop caring about the thing, then you fundamentally become cured. And it's not gonna matter if you lose your hair or not. But ultimately, and it's cool too, because I just coincidentally happen to be wearing my Ride the Lightning Metallica shirt as there's lightning. I think that's cool. Couldn't have planned it that way. But yeah, the thing is, I don't want to look at anybody's hairline, even though I could accurately tell you and predict if you will be going bald in the near future, and I'd be right about it. I have no interest in doing that, because I do not want to be held accountable. I do not want anyone to hear me speak truth, maybe that they will be going bald in the next 5 years, and then they say, but what do I do about it? See, that's the thing, like, I don't care. I don't care how to stop you from going bald. It's not something that fundamentally matters to me. And it's like the video I made recently talking about what is the worst part about hair loss. Well, the worst part about hair loss is that it may not actually happen. The irony that the majority of my viewers and subscribers are not balding, and a lot of them never will go bald, but they will carry the fear of that with them their whole lives, no matter what age they become. Some may even say, well, you're 38 years old, if I could have that much hair and even have my hair that short, but if I could be like you and make it to my 20th high school reunion, then I'd be okay. No, you wouldn't. No, you wouldn't. You would then say, Well, if I can only make it till my 40th birthday, that's just 2 more years. Oh, if only I could make it till I'm 50. You know, it would be this whole thing. Until you fundamentally become okay with who you are with or without hair, you're never going to be okay with that. So here's my response. I appreciate everybody who supports my channel. I really do. Ultimately, just know that a major difference between you and me is I don't care if I go bald, and you do. Therefore, if you're tempted to reach out to me and say, will you please look at a picture of my hairline? The immediate answer is no, and I'm not even going to respond to you. Because ultimately, you need to just ask your barber. Your barber knows. Your barber, or whoever cuts your hair, in my case, it's not a barber, it's the lady at Great Clips, and a different one each time. But ultimately, they do this for a living. They know how to, even for me, I showed her a picture. The guy's hairline and density was different than mine. He had like straight across, or more of, it was a lower hairline and it was more density. And I said, hey, do you think I can pull this off? She said, oh yeah, we can do that. So they're used to working around men's different hairlines and different densities. They're used to that. They do it for a living. They can see patterns of hair loss in its earlier stages. They do that for a living. So why in the world would you ask some random guy on the internet to look at your picture when you're gonna get a haircut anyway in the next, couple of weeks? You're gonna go get your hair cut. Why in the world would you not, as you're sitting in the chair, after you tell them how to cut your hair, say, hey, I got a question for you. You're a professional person that cuts people's hair for a living. You would know more so than anyone. Hey, you're looking at my hairline right now. What do you think? If you were to predict at what point I would start noticeably balding, what would you say? See, I did that when I was 20, and she said age 35 before I started noticeably balding, and you can be the judge. I mean, we could say, well, maybe she was right because I'm 38 and I still have this much hair. So she said, you'll at least make it to your 35. I asked her that when I was 20. So I think she was accurate. I just don't understand though. The psychology, why would you ask some random guy on the internet? I guess the answer is because I am the 4th most popular hair loss YouTuber. But I constantly remind everybody, I'm a paid entertainer. I make money from the ads. I make these videos because people are obsessed with them, not because I care about it. People assume that therefore I'm obsessed like they are. I'm not. I don't care if I go bald. But it gives this impression that I care about hair loss or that I care about solving hair loss. By the way, there's no cure for hair loss. There's never going to be. Trying to find a cure for hair loss is like saying, I'm kind of short. We need to find a cure for curing short men so they can all be 6 foot tall. So then when we're on the dating apps, the girls won't pass us by because, we're at least 6 foot tall. Like, that's how ridiculous that concept is. A cure for hair loss? It's your DNA, man. You were born with DNA, and that determines at what age you're gonna go bald. It's that simple. We're not gonna find a cure for hair loss. That's ridiculous. We're not gonna find a cure for making you 6 feet tall or whatever perceived imperfection you think that it is. It's your DNA. And look, just go ask your barber. Just ask them. Now, if you really were a fan of my videos, then you would know that all you really have to do, according to this paid entertainer, this clown, I call myself a clown. That's how lightly I take this whole thing. Look at yourself in a photo of age 1. Ask your mom. She has a photo of you at age 1, not a year and a half, not 9 months, not 2 years old, 1 year old. Look at the photo. Look at your hair. That's you at age 35. You want another one? Okay, fine. By age 18, did you have a connected beard? Your mustache connected all the way over here, and it was fully connected. And I don't mean just some kind of strip, but like, you can look at my stubble. This is the stubble I had by the time I was 18. Okay? If that's the case, you're more likely in general to start losing your hair earlier. That and the 1-year-old photo, and you ask your barber, hey, you do this for a living? Hey, if you were to guess, how much more time do I have up here with the hair? If I don't do anything to stop and I don't do Propecia or whatever, what would you say if you were just to guess? That's appropriate. That's what they do for a living. I am a random guy on the internet. I hold zero credibility, even though I did just give some hair loss theories that I made up. They're not scientifically proven, and I don't even care that I'm right, but they are observations that I learned in Thailand when I was a teacher over there. When I noticed that I was a very hairy guy and those guys were not, and I looked at the men over there that were in their 50s and 60s, a lot of them had at least this much hair, if not more, in their 50s and 60s. Came back to America, not the case for men in their 50s and 60s. There was typically a relationship between how much body hair you have and your ability to keep hair. The hairier you are, the less hair you're likely to have up here as you age. I'm not saying it's always right. I'm saying it's a general observation, and it's generally true. Just ask your barber. Like, why is this the thing? Is the thing that we're so obsessed with, like, everything's on phones now and we can't have a real conversation with a real human being? Like, hey lady or man, I'm sitting in your chair, you're about to cut my hair. What do you think? Why is that so hard? Why can't we do that if you're so worried about it? Okay, that's the end of the video. I'm not a nice guy. I'm not cool. Watch Max Da Silva. He's a lot better of a human being than I am. Comments right here.